Well, Mr. Ati Logan, we've reached the point in the Colts offseason where we are talking about the Colts signing a basketball player who's never actually played football, at least past the high school level, in his entire life. So, welcome in to Colts Unplugged Pod. We're going to talk about that and just kind of where the Colts are right now when it comes to the offseason. Are they getting better? Are they getting worse? Are they staying about the same? We'll find out once we talk to our good friend, Mr. Adi Logan here. How you doing?
Good. Carson Tout, 6'8", 260 pounds. Never played football before. The next Mo Alley Cox. I mean, we only signed him to a 1-year deal, so he
I
could be
know
the next
that's
Mo.
that's what everybody was saying pretty much on Twitter. Is like, oh well, it worked out for Mo like Cox, but I'm like, guys, I'm just looking at the linebacker core right now. I understand, right, that that Carson Tow's just going to be a practice squad player.
He's
But
just a camp
man,
body. Maybe not even a
yeah,
practice
he's just
squad
a
guy.
camp body. But man, I understand why some Colts fans could be upset because if you look at that linebacker core right now, it's pretty ugly. I can't remember the exact names that I saw, but let's just say I don't know anything about those guys, and I am a
Really? Jalen
diehard Colts fan.
Carlisle, Ajake.
I mean, other than Jalen Carlisle, we all of us don't really know much about Jalen Carlisle, though. We haven't seen him in
Yeah.
a ton of action. But yeah, dude, that linebacker room is looking rough. What are your overall thoughts just over the last few days of free agency for the Colts? What kind of needs you see, and then where do you feel like the Colts have gotten better?
Yeah, I don't necessarily find it free agency thus far as bad as everyone's saying it is. I don't necessarily think we got worse. I know I saw a lot of random podcasts out there talking about the Colts, and I think I quote tweeted it about the Colts getting worse. I just don't think they got worse. I think yeah, they lost some of their core players they've had since 2021, but I don't think it's like a bad thing. Are we going to address the depth in like Danny Pinter and our offensive line through the draft and signing more free agents? I'm sure. Zaire Franklin, in my opinion, is replaceable. Losing Michael Pittman hurt, but it's like, I mean, if you look at his some of his I forgot what it's called, but some of those like deep stats and metrics, it's like he really wasn't worth a $29
The
million
advanced
cap hit.
metrics.
Exactly. He really wasn't worth that $29 million cap hit, and I'm sure we'll, target wide receiver in the second or third round or bring in some free agents or something. So, did we get on paper, did we get worse because we lost some veteran players? Sure. Like what really hurt me was Nick Cross. Personally, that's
Mm.
the one that I'm just like, damn, like he signed for what, like 7 million? I'm like, damn, we could have just at least had him back. But the lack of addressing the linebacker core is obviously a little terrifying, but I think it's fair for me to say Chris Ballard has a plan. I don't really know. He's typically good with linebackers, right? It's just mostly that defensive line that he struggles with. But I do think if we can re-sign Jermaine Pratt, we bring in Jonathan Grenard, or trade for Jonathan Grenard, and we draft a young linebacker and we draft some edges and a wide receiver, like I feel pretty confident. I know you tweeted this yesterday when we signed Taylor Britt. He's reunited with Luana Rumo. I feel pretty good about the corner
I have
room.
breaking news, by the way. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I have
What do we got
breaking
left?
news. This just dropped. The Colts have signed wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. He's been a long
Wow.
time Colt killer, I would say, especially for the Titans
Yeah,
in years
I'm
past.
literally quote
And
tweeting.
linebacker Akeem Davis-Gather. Don't know too much
Wow.
about Akeem Davis-Gather, but I will say at least they're attempting to make some linebacker moves. So yeah, breaking news. I know it's usually Addy Schefter that is breaking the Colts news, but yes, that just
Yeah.
happened as we were recording the pod. So it's good to see that the Colts are still picking up some depth pieces right at receiver and linebacker, two areas. I would say I agree with all of your points in regards to the linebacker room and some of your worries there, but I think my biggest worry is actually the edge position.
Over
Uh,
linebacker. I mean, we just signed Akeem, so
yeah,
I'm reading about
wow.
him. Wow, he was ranked
May
40.
Okay, I would say linebacker, yeah, as far as on paper, I'm more scared about it right now, but edge, I feel like it's harder to address edge with
Sure.
the lack of draft capital that the Colts have, unless you go out and get somebody like Jonathan Grenard. I know there's been a
Grenard,
lot
Grenard,
of, like,
Grenard.
really big pushes there from social media GM Sauce Gardner. tweeting that he needed to lock Jonathan Grenard up in the basement. But yeah, I think the edge position and the linebacker position are two
Can I show you
position groups
something?
that are bad. Oh, what is it with the Colts going after these guys that are the bottom 10 in PFF ranking for their respective position this offseason? What's going on with that?
PFF is PFF. I don't take
Yeah,
too much into account, but at the same time, it's like, can we get? I mean, I don't
it's
know.
not great news. And then
I
you
don't
got
know.
then you obviously have the banter on Twitter as well of all the fans of the previous teams that the Colts have signed, the free
Yeah,
agents. They're all like, "That guy was the worst player on our team.
yeah.
I'm so glad we're rid of him." But
The
yeah,
Jets defensive end.
if you had to grade, no, real talk though, if you had to give a real honest grade to free agency so far, and let's and I will actually challenge you, not including re-signing Alec Pierce and
Oh, that's
Daniel
hard
Jones.
then. I can't just not include
I
that.
want to make a challenge for you. Yeah, I want to make it challenging for you because those two were kind of the big ones right off rip, right? But since then, it's been a little quiet.
I mean, yeah,
So if
it's
you had
just
to
been a bunch
give,
of camp bodies.
yeah,
I think they have a lot of trust in the young guys like Justin Wally and Hunter Wohler to trying to figure it out and step in. I think right now their main focus is let's round out the camp bodies, to 90 or 100 players and just kind of
mm,
the guys like Arden Key and the Jets guy and just a bunch of these rotational pieces to replace like Neville Gallimore and Quiddy Pay to a certain degree and Ebukam, who re-signed. I think if you're excluding Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce, which is I think a big piece of free agency, I'm really happy we retained both of them. I'd give them like a C minus, somewhere in that range.
mm,
But if we're including the two biggest signings of the offseason for the Colts, and I think we should include it, I'd say like a B minus. Elevates it a whole
really, you would
letter grade
actually
up.
go in the B territory,
Minus,
B minus.
minus. That's
We
really
talking
close to a
like
C
we
plus.
talking like 80% right on the
I'd,
cusp
I'd
of B minus.
I'd say like B minus closer to a C plus than a B.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly, man, even if I add it, so if I don't add in Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce, I would give them a C minus so far,
Hmm.
closer to a D plus. And I think with
Okay, so I
the
said the same
Daniel
thing for without like
C
C
minus,
minus,
okay,
right?
but I would actually say with Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce factored in, I'd probably give the Colts like a solid like just C, just straight middle of the
Really?
pack C. Yeah, I don't think much has been accomplished yet. And then you obviously have, Alec Pierce getting just a massive contract, right? So you gotta consider the money there. Daniel
He's deserving, dude.
Jones,
I almost called you Daniel Jones real quick, Logan.
yeah,
I just want to tell you, I was almost
yeah,
like Daniel. Listen, no,
Daniel,
Logan, listen. I think you're forgetting to acknowledge the biggest piece in free agency,
yeah.
Mo Alley. Does that increase you
Oh
from
my,
a C to a C plus? Mo Cox, Mo Cox, Mo
I mean,
Cox.
I feel like there's only three things that are certain in this world, right?
Mhm.
Death, taxes, and Mo Alley Cox being an Indianapolis
Come
Colt.
on,
So of
baby.
course,
Best
of
blocking tight end.
course that makes me happier. But yeah, no, that's more of like a fan service signing, right? Just a key blocking piece. I mean, he's coming in his eighth year. I don't think he would really be a starter on any other
No, no,
NFL
no.
roster.
He's
So I think
signed
he
as a tight end
knows,
three, just straight
yeah,
blocking.
he
Right.
knows that. I
He knows
think
his
he'll
role.
probably retire a Colt most likely. I don't
Yeah.
think he'd have much of a market outside of Indy. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm still sitting at a C. I think that can be raised if Ballard and the front office gets a little bit more aggressive and gets an edge. I'd love to see a move for an edge. I think you lost Ebicom and you lost Quiddy Pay. I don't think either of those guys can be immediately replaced in the draft. I don't.
I
I
think
don't think you're going to be able to
I think
find
they
it
were
through the
both
draft.
very they're just underperforming at a high level. Like I think
They
Arden
were,
Key
they
could
were,
be
but I'm
better than
talking right
Ebukam.
away, year one rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be hard to find
JTT
that type of level
maybe
of production.
takes the next step. Tumaloya, whatever his last name is.
Dude, his situation was so troubling, by the way, last year. I don't know why he was just a healthy scratch for so many games. That
I
was
think he
weird.
just needed development. I think the biggest thing is
Yeah.
development, and you took him pretty high, right, in the second round,
Yeah.
or was it third round? I don't remember, but
Yeah. Second
um,
round.
second
Second
round.
round.
So maybe they have trust in him, and he played really well, man, at Ohio State, especially in the playoff games. I mean, he made it
Mhm.
count. So
Do you quick question that just came up for me too. Do you think that Ballard tries to trade up into the first round,
I think anything's
or do you think that's
possible,
not a
but
possibility?
anything's possible. I would never give it a 0% chance, but, knowing Ballard, he typically trades back, than trading up,
Mhm.
so
That
I
is
wouldn't be
true, yeah.
shocked if he traded back just to acquire an extra who knows
Acquire
what,
extra picks, yeah.
but,
I feel
an
like
extra
that's
pick
almost a
or
certainty every year with the Colts draft. Like everyone's like, I'm waiting for that notification where it's like the Colts have traded back.
we're trading back from our 3rd to acquire an
Yeah,
extra 4th and a 5th, or
yeah,
an extra 4th and a 6th, like, some shit
yeah.
like that.
We shall see, man. I don't know. I think I'm still just a little cynical, and it's tough for me to get super excited into the B territory because, as far as grading, because at the end of the day, I'm just frustrated that the whole I guess, like, the whole, like, persona or the whole mantra, right, of the offseason was supposed to be the urgency has never been higher, and to me, as of yet, a lot of other NFL teams are better lining up with that mantra than the Colts are.
So
Like, there's
so
a
I
lot of
do
NFL
think
teams out there that are making moves that are, "Hey, our championship window's here, the urgency's higher, we believe we can compete this season," and I know there's still a lot of time, don't get me wrong, still a lot of time in the offseason, but as of now, I think the Colts are definitively worse roster-wise than they were last season.
so I'm not trying to defend Chris Ballard in any way. He does not deserve to be the GM of the Colts, but he did. I mean, the plan was, and it was going to happen the very next day, to sign Trey Hendrickson until Baltimore dropped out of that Crosby deal. So I think, like, if we're taking into account that we offered him, I think, like 24 or $25 million a year versus the 28 that he signed, we're looking at this free agency completely differently if
Right,
that trade went through. And that's
but
and that
those are all what ifs though for me, like, you know
no,
what
it
I'm
is
saying?
it
Like,
is what
yeah,
ifs, but it's like if Trey Hendrickson's there, like that moves me from a B, B minus to a B plus because you got a premier edge rusher coming off back to back 17 and a half sacks
right.
despite being 31 years old.
And
So that's just like a
he was the number 1, like, consensus ranked
sure.
free agent available, yeah,
And him and
you know?
Latu combined, I mean, that would have been nuts.
Mhm.
And so, like, yes, we'd absolutely. It's true. We did not land him. The Ravens got him in the last second, even though we structured Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce's contract to make it so we could take on and sign Trey Hendrickson. But I cannot discredit, the GM and our front office for at least trying
Yep.
their hardest to acquire him. No, now it's like let's move on. Let's get Jonathan Grenard. Trade a third, trade a fourth. Do what you got to do
Ooh,
to get Jonathan Grenard.
last question before, because I know you gotta hop,
Yeah.
Jalen Jones. I've been hearing rumors that he's our guy. Like, we're a big Jalen Jones
We love
podcast.
Jalen
Okay,
Jones.
we
Yeah.
love Jalen Jones. All my homies love Jalen Jones. I've been hearing some rumors that he just doesn't really fit in with the cornerback room currently. If you remember last year, he wasn't getting a lot of playing time in Lou Anarumo's system.
Special teams guy could though.
What are your thoughts there on potentially the Colts packaging him in a trade,
Sure.
for an edge rusher?
I mean, one, he's a special. I love to keep him as a special teams guy and a depth corner piece. He shows he can make it happen. He had some good moments. He had some bad moments last season.
Mhm.
But we're big Jalen Jones fans. But if it does mean that we package Jalen Jones in a fourth or Jalen Jones in a fifth to acquire Jonathan Grenard, I mean, I'm
Mm.
smashing accept. If the Vikings wanted to do that.
Still no biters on AR yet. We're gonna see what comes of that as well. I just
Well, I
realized,
think
yeah,
this should be a good topic for our next episode. Is like,
yeah.
what do we do with AR? Do we, like,
Let's do an
where's his
AR
value?
episode next
Yeah,
pod.
the
Maybe
listeners would like
unless
that.
like some crazy news happens, but yeah, we'll talk. We'll dig more into Anthony Richardson and all things considered there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to Colts Unplugged Pod. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Follow us on all socials, and of course, as always, go
Go
Colts.
Colts.